guys, we're back. Just like I said, we'd be back. At least we're straight about it. And look at all the red I'm wearing. You guys have never seen me wear red before. In fact, I don't think anyone's seen me wear red before. But look at it. It's kind of weird and it's freaking me out a little bit.
Does clash pretty nicely with the set, but we'll persevere. We'll do what we can.
It doesn't clash with the set, okay?
Your hipsterism clashes with the set.
That hurt. That was my soul, man. Like, you just, like, took my soul and...
It's alright, I'll get you a slow latte to make up for it.
Fuck you.
So, today we're talking about The Hunger Games.
Not just because I skipped breakfast.
It's because it's relevant. Latest movie from Lionsgate Cinema. It's not actually that bad.
It's very watchable. We'll say from right off the bat, neither Evan or I have read the book. I'm not going to.
Neither am I. But you know what? That's because I don't want any spoilers. I actually legitimately enjoyed the movie. Had a couple of gripes with just the lack of backstory, and there wasn't a tremendous amount of character development. But I personally
was no character development.
There wasn't a lot.
There was so many questions left unanswered. Like, if you've seen the movie, you know that what's her name? Katniss. Katniss uses Peter to win. She's all like, "We're so in love. Oh my god,
alert.
I love it so much." And then they win. And then they're on the train back to District 12, and she's all like, "I guess we just forget it." And Peter's all like, "I don't want to forget."
The point is,
It's harsh.
there's a bit of a love triangle there, and obviously it's a fairly conventional little theatre movie that you're going to see. You do sit there wondering every now and again why, where's the payoff here? And no doubt that'll come from the second and third movie, so that's I suppose what you got to hold out for.
Which I really hope they do put out, because as a standalone from the book, it really is a fantastic story. Like, I'm showing my ignorance here, I don't actually know who wrote the book originally, but they really didn't know who?
No one cares.
No one cares? Cool, alright, sweet. If you find us, please don't sue us. It really was just a really fantastic story. It is kind of Battle Royale retold for a different generation, which if you have spent any time on Ming Base, you'll know. But it really is just a fantastic story, but it is very sadistic. I would not recommend taking any kids under like 10 to see this movie.
It's considering that it's based on teen fiction, something that has been repeatedly likened to the next Twilight. There is a high level impact of violence there.
There's
straight up and down, some guy cutting his way through a couple of 14-year-olds and laughing about it.
These bitches don't twinkle.
No, they do not. But you know what? That just I mean, it's a nice little surprise when you're there in the cinema expecting some,
Really, like, it really hits you for six. Like, there's that first scene where they're all like in those little pods and they're running in to get all their supplies, and like one kid's quicker than all the others, so he picks up a sword, and the next thing you know, there's blood flying everywhere. Blood hits the camera, which is always my favorite effect. And it's just like, whoa, that came out of left field. Like, you know these kids are going to go into it and, like, kill each other, but there's no reluctancy about it. They just...
He was laughing.
He was really laughing, yeah. It was fucking weird.
I mean, the movie's pretty well shot. Like, admittedly, I felt the action scenes, they did the whole shaky camera to try and get around the fact that it wasn't,
very well choreographed.
Exactly.
But you can kind of see why they did it, because they're supposed to be a bunch of 12 to 18-year-olds who have no previous combat experience. So to have them, like, Neoing their way through this would be kind of, I think, more painful to watch than them clumsily wielding a sword.
And they do make a couple of allowances. Certain characters are, it is set up that they've, previously had training, that they've,
they go to, like, some academy.
That they were chosen for this long before they, before the actual game. So, I mean, it's not as if there's all of a sudden you see someone kung fuing their way through, half a dozen enemies, and it's like, well, where did that come from? When did you learn how to do that?
Especially because there's only 24 kids in the whole battle, so like killing 6 people in like 30 seconds, you'd have no movie. So there's that. All in all, it's a fantastic movie. It really is very watchable. It's enjoyable. Like we said earlier, it does need more background. Like, they kind of explain why the whole Hunger Games things has happened in this very clunky mechanism, which is they're all standing there getting picked, and they play this movie that's come from the Capitol.
A promotional video.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's propaganda, really. And it explains what all happened and why these guys are going to the Hunger Games. And you're kind of like, oh, okay, I can deal with that. But I would have liked to have seen a lot more development of the backstory.
But arguably, that's going to come in the next 2 movies.
But there was a lot of room for it in this film. Like, Katniss? I still can't say her name. Katniss? She sleeps in a tree the whole time because, hey, let's face it.
Where would you sleep when there's people trying to kill you?
Exactly. And she's like, a lot of her time she's asleep or like she's spooning Peter in a cave. There's a lot of, there's a lot of room for like a decent dream sequence there to explain like why this is all happening, or like
Or even perhaps a longer intro that just established character development a little bit more, and they could have kept the pacing going by showing a couple of flashback scenes, that type of thing, just to basically.
There was a
keep it
lot.
interesting.
Yeah, there was a lot they could have done with it, but it really felt like the first half an hour was getting everything out of the way so that everyone could kill each other.
Basically, let's get the story out of the way so we can concentrate on the brutal action.
Which it really did feel like. But once you get to the brutal action and there's like they're in the arena, it's actually a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I'd watch it again.
So would I. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'd watch the second one.
I'd watch the second one, yeah.
I might. Maybe.
If you paid for it, I'd watch it again.
Yeah. Yeah, if someone was shouting me.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't seen it, they were keen.
I'd give it an 8.
Yeah, I'd go about the same.
Yeah, cool. So,
not bad.
it's the Hunger Games. How are we holding this? How are we doing this?
I don't know.
We didn't rehearse this.
This is totally
This is totally out
I
there
don't
right
know
now.
what to do. I don't know what to do.
Cool.
Crazy.
Panic.
Maybe it'll run out of film.
Fade to black.